One of the most frustrating parts of being in the quote-unquote influencer community is the desire that individuals have to see you make public comments on every single thing that takes place in the world. It's taxing because it forces you to make snap or knee-jerk reactions to things you otherwise would want to take time to adequately process. Now, that's the quandary that so many quote-unquote influencers are in now that we're seeing this escalating conflict between Iran and Israel and possibly even the United States. Even though it is still a very fresh, very recent developing story, individuals almost expect influencers to have an answer for or a position on everything that's taking place. And it's frustrating because a lot of influencers feel that pressure. So instead of taking time to actually do their due diligence and come to a well-formed, well-thought-out conclusion, they are the first ones to throw their support behind X individual or Y individual without taking time to assess a fully developing story. And I want to think I'm a pretty reasonable, rational person as it relates to the political arena. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the things that we cannot afford to do as a country is get involved in foreign conflicts that have nothing to do with us. Think of this as an example. Imagine you see two individuals going at it, and then you run up there and try to interject yourself into that situation. Both individuals aren't going to be too happy at your presence. Now, it's not the same situation as what we see happening between Israel and Iran, but the fact of the matter is, Israel's leadership has been claiming that Iran is on the brink of having a nuclear weapon for over 30 years at this point. And then Israel was the one who decided to be the aggressor and launch attacks against Iran first. And then what's crazy is Israel almost more or less looked to the US as like their proverbial big brother and ran to try to hide behind us and have us do their dirty work for them. Now, most of the base on the right side of the aisle is staunchly against foreign wars. That's actually one of the things that helped Donald Trump separate himself from much of the Republican establishment candidates in the past. And one of the things that we love about Trump is the fact that he was able to broker peace through strength. Now, what I'll say is this: we do want peace in the Middle East. We're getting the strength part right now, but not the peace part just yet. And of course, these things are going to take time. Negotiations are still well underway. But it would behoove us to not make snap decisions or make up our minds about a certain situation without knowing all the facts and information first. Now, I'm not sure what's going to take place, and no one is sure what's going to take place. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. So sometimes the best answer or the best response is to not have an answer or have a response at that particular moment. Of course, I'm keeping a close eye on the situation, but I'm also aware that we have things we need to address here in America first before we begin trying to insert ourselves in other global conflicts. Some of y'all know this about me, but I'm an Air Force brat, and my family spent time over in Greece shortly after 9/11 as my dad took a NATO assignment. And when we were there, we were struck by how many individuals weren't really the biggest fans of the United States. And we kind of wondered why. Like, why do you hate America so much? But now I kind of get it. Other countries have their own spats, their own squabbles, so on and so forth. And while they're even still trying to hash them out themselves, guess what? They see the US that still has problems of their own, decide, hey, we are going to insert ourselves in your affairs. Of course, that's not going to go over very well, and it's going to create animosity and resentment. So my thoughts on the issue as they stand today is we don't know what's going to take place tomorrow, the next day, or the next month, right? All we have to do now is wait for more information to come out, but also know that this situation is very similar to what took place that led us to the now infamous Afghanistan conflict. The charge then was weapons of mass destruction. And now it seems the new rallying cry is, oh, Iran is weeks away from a nuclear weapon, which we know they've been saying for the past several decades. So those are my thoughts. I'm curious what yours might be. But one thing I do want to tell you is the last thing you should do is spend your time panicking. There are so many individuals who claim to be critical thinkers, but they are the first ones to act extremely irrational. We don't have time for that. We can do better, we will do better, and we should do better. Now that goes for the influencer community and the average everyday voter, member of the electorate. So again, those are my thoughts, and I'm curious what yours might be.